first question is, as you know, sequels, there are a lot of pressure when it comes to sequels.
Right.
Either they can do really good or they can do really bad. What was your initial thoughts when they approached you about doing a sequel?
Well, this one took a different pattern because most sequels come out maybe they start filming them like a year or two after the original. Here we have 14 years. So with this one, Malcolm called us all and said, he took us all to dinner and he wanted to know if we wanted to get back together and do the sequel again. And so immediately everybody was like, well, what's the script like? How can we come back? How can we do it again? And once I read the script, I felt there was definitely something we could do again because the script has a little bit of everything. I really do think if you watch this movie, it actually stands on its own. You really, it helps to see the first movie, but there's so much in this movie that I think is going to surpass the original.
From start to finish, what would you say, and you touched on this a little bit earlier, but what would you say was the most challenging part of the film?
Just like the first one, it takes me places that personally I don't like to really deal with. But this one, in the first movie I just had that one scene when I was on the altar. This movie I have like 3 scenes where I kind of got to deal with some really deep stuff. So that was the most challenging.
So when you have to connect emotionally in the film, do you go to things in your personal life? And also, how do you decompress after you have a scene where you have to go to that place that, a lot of men don't like to cry, so.
Right. I would have to say this, the first movie was difficult for me because I think when I did the first movie and I was crying at the altar, I don't remember the last time I had cried up until that point. So it was challenging because, that was a day we were all hanging out. It was towards the end of the movie. And everyone's sitting on the set talking about how much fun they had last night, what they're gonna do this weekend, and I'm over there have to sit in the corner with my iPod on or whatever, and I had to go to that place. And then after we shot that scene in that movie, it took me at least when I thought about that moment, I would get chills for at least a year thinking about that moment. And then when I saw the movie again, thinking about that moment, I kind of got chills just thinking about it. This one I was able to handle it a little bit better, because I think I'm a little bit more mature and I deal with my issues a little bit better now. But yeah, there were a lot of moments in this movie where I had to deal with a lot of stuff.
Okay, in one word, how would you describe the film?
Great.
Okay.
Yeah, you should see it. No, seriously, and I'm not just saying that because I think, I haven't seen the finished product, but I know what we shot. I feel that all of us are in a much better place than we were at the beginning. I mean, the first one we were just happy to be there, just shooting the movie, and we're here now we're a little bit more seasoned. We're better actors. We have much more chemistry. Malcolm's a better director. I think the film is going to be. I do think it's going to be great.
Okay, if you had to pick one song as the soundtrack of your entire life, one song. I mean, 2 songs. You want to come back to that one?
Yeah, let's come back to that one.
Okay, we'll come back to that one. In Hollywood, how do you handle rejection?
Oh, it's a part of life and rejection. It's the thing about being in Hollywood. Like I say, for every role you see, you've been turned down like 100. So it's just a way of I'm always honest with myself. When I wake up in the morning and I go to sleep at night, I don't lie to myself about what the situation is. There's a lot of times when actors, if they don't get a part, they say, oh, it's because he knew the director, or it's because he's sleeping with the casting director or whatever. I've always been honest with myself, and that's I'm just more driven that way. So that's how I handle rejection. Just being honest with myself and just going and get it because it actually fuels me. If I go up for a part and I don't get it, it fuels me more for the next one. But it's tough. You have to really be able to, in our industry, handle rejection and let it fuel you. Because if you don't, the industry is going to eat you up. That's why sometimes you see actors and you say, oh, whatever happened with such and such. It's tough to deal with rejection, especially when you come to a function. I have friends who are very well known that people, if they go somewhere, people ask them for their autograph and they cheer for them, and then they go into a casting director's office and they treat them like they're nothing, and it really eats away. But you just have to really know how to deal with the rejection.
What's the best piece of advice that you received about working in the business?
To be honest, I've never really. I have my advice that I would give to someone.
That's fine. That works.
Yeah, I would say just. Focus and be persistent in becoming better. A lot of the times people come to LA and they think that, okay, well, I'm gonna go to this party, I'm gonna be discovered, or I'm gonna go to this coffee shop or restaurant where everybody is, and they're forgetting about studying and doing the work. there was a moment, actually, you know, I did Boys in the Hood, and then after Boys in the Hood, you know, I kind of just thought roles were going to come to me, and things just weren't working out. This is about being acceptance, being self-responsibility. So the roles weren't coming like I wanted them to come, and so I said, man, I got to do something. So I started, you know, I got back into an acting class, and literally like probably 3 months after I finished is when the first Best Man came. So I practice what I preach.
Okay, one last question before we go back to the soundtrack question.
Yes.
What does God mean to you?
Oh, I mean, I do everything through God. I mean, like I said, I would not be here if it were not for God. I try to live my life in a very, very Christian-like way and manner. So yeah, he means everything.
Okay, can I get a song for your soundtrack?
Yeah, that's a tough one. I mean, my life has been so. I don't want to say complicated, but I mean, I don't think you can define anyone's life who's my age. I'm 25. I don't know if you can really sum up anyone's life. If someone has lived, I don't think one word.
Give me your favorite song. Just give me one of your favorite songs or a song you work out to. I need some music.
This is what I'll give you. Okay, you want some music from me?
Yeah.
Okay, this is what I do.
Some music from
so when I'm in the gym and I have my iPod on, I'm Pandora. It depends on what kind of mood I'm in. Most of the time, I'll go with like I'll turn on Tank's or Trey Songz station and iPod. Sometimes I go to Lil Wayne. Sometimes I take it back to Ice Cube. But for the most part, it's probably Tank, Trey Songz, and Miguel.
Do you have a favorite Ratchet song?
Favorite Ratchet song?
Yeah.
Like what?
Well, you kind of named some of the artists that may have some Ratchet, like a Lil Wayne or. but 2 Chainz.
2 Chainz. Yeah, I mean, I got my little times when I'm, doing my little, I'm all right.
All right, well, thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you, I appreciate it.